In today's editorial page, we are getting everyone's opinions on if Colin Kaepernick has not yet signed because of his refusal to stand for the national anthem last year. This comes up now after the news emerged yesterday that Kaepernick is getting a look, along with RG3, from the Seahawks to back up Russell Wilson. On the one hand, you could say no, this is all about Kaepernick's incredible drop-off as a player. On the other hand, you could say Mike Glennon got $19 million guaranteed from the Bears. Willie, is Kaepernick still looking for a job because of his stance on social issues and his kneeling for the national anthem last year?
Without a doubt, I think this is a big image blow for the NFL. They have to figure out what side of the fence they're on. Are they supporting the players or they're supporting the money? I've been on record to understand that, listen, anytime you stand for social injustice, you got to stand behind somebody because it's all about making the world a better place. But from a football standpoint, the Seahawks would be a great fit for Colin Kaepernick because Trayvon, I forgot his name, Trayvon Boykin, I think his name. I may be messing his name up. But he's a second behind Russell Wilson. And he's already had two off-the-field issues that they have to get rid of him because they're trying to go forward and win a championship in the Seahawks. I think Kaepernick would do good. He has allies in our locker room, and he'll be beneficial for everybody. So I like it.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think, you know, if he was. One thing I would say is if he was a can't-miss quarterback, he'd be playing somewhere because that ties into the money. Sure. It can help somebody win. But the NFL has wrapped themselves in the flag, patriotism, God, mother, apple pie, anything else you want to say. And I think his image that he created is he's being paid back for that. Yeah. So I do think it's got something to do with why he doesn't have a gig.
Oh, there's no question that it has something. I mean, look at some of the guys who have been signed. I mean, Blaine Gabbert has a contract. I mean, Colin Kaepernick took a job away from Blaine Gabbert a couple of years ago. Now, I know Kaepernick has diminished as a player, and that's fine. He's still better than some of the Drek out there in the quarterback ranks, so this has got to be playing a huge role in him not being signed. Now, the Seattle thing, as you guys point out, is fascinating because Paul Allen and Pete Carroll strike me as the kind of guys who would, you know, weather any storm that would come in and not really be affected by it and have a little bit more of an open mind about signing this guy. And if there is flack, and who cares if there is, really, honestly, they should be able to take it. And they would ride with it.
Yeah, here's the thing about Kaepernick, though. You have to have a plan when you're trying to sell yourself to a team. And he really hasn't, as we spoke about before, he hasn't really said much. There's no PR campaign behind him. He's not out there trying to tell his story and engender some sympathy with the fan base because I don't see fans clamoring for him. You know, and he's been relatively silent since he's been trying to be signed.
It's tough to deal with, and I've been on record of saying this. How can you honestly explain why this man is in the NFL when a couple of years ago he was the leading factor why the 49ers were in the Super Bowl? He was obviously worthy at this point. Valid, you know, he has diminished as a ball player, but he's worthy of being a backup. You can't tell me E.J. Manuel, Blaine Gabbert, Mike Glennon are all better than Colin Kaepernick. I'm just not believing that. I think they're making a mockery of this man, and he needs a job right now.
Do you think that these owners are actually colluding? They've got together and say, don't anybody take this guy?
Willie, this has to be the final word.
Yeah, I think they're making an example out of him. I think they're showing all ball players, if you step out of line and you disrespect the flag and you mess with our money, you will be blacklisted, and I think that's what's going on.
You know, it's interesting, and the one thing to keep in mind, and I think we've had a really nice discussion on this, the one thing to keep in mind is I'm not sure, I think a lot of corporations would do this to whoever it is, whatever walk of life. I think a lot of people, if they took this stance, would have trouble finding jobs. It'll be interesting to see if Seattle does take a chance on